And welcome back to episode 10 of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast. We're coming to you as we record this immediately after the very underwhelming main event of WrestleMania 41. Welcome back. This is episode 10. I'm Ryan, that's Dom. And Dom, I don't know about you, but I just feel numb. After all that, I just feel numb.
Uh, I feel a big letdown from tonight compared to the drama we had the first night of WrestleMania. And like obviously we witnessed something for the history books because we finally saw somebody break Ric Flair's record, but the way it was delivered felt like ordering from DoorDash and you expecting your food to get there nice and tight and neat, and it comes in a big slob of bull crap in your
Yeah,
bag. So
yeah. No, I mean, it's like
sloppy.
yeah, no, I'll do that analogy one better. It's like you order a steak from DoorDash, but instead you get like I don't know, like a loaf of bread from Subway, with the same material that they use to make yoga mats. I mean, it just, this was John Cena's first actual match after his heel turn at Elimination Chamber. The main event of WrestleMania 41, or WrestleMania Sunday night. It was slow, it was plotting, and admittedly, John Cena is kind of getting old, a little long in the teeth for this game. But still, it was slow, it was plotting, it was um like it just landed to me very kind of, just flat. Now, you mentioned this broke Ric Flair's record. Ric Flair is my favorite heel of all time. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but definitely my favorite heel of all time. And a few guys in the history of the business um knew how to cheat better than that man. And to put that mess of a match on the same on the same level as, some of Ric Flair's title matches does a disservice to the dirtiest player in the game, in my opinion. That match just did absolutely nothing for me except piss me off.
Let's just go ahead and say this as a fan. Travis Scott had no business being out there. I've seen
Don't
better.
even get me started on him and that song that played constantly.
I like the song. I just didn't like the execution by Travis Scott. I seen Bad Bunny do better moves than Travis Scott. Um, I really wish The Rock would have made it to WrestleMania. I get that he's a very busy man. Hell, to be honest, I rather his daughter would have came out there and screwed Cody or somebody from his family that he sent out there. Nia Jax of all people, somebody. But like to have Travis Scott come out there, and this is the main event of WrestleMania. He comes out and he takes 5 minutes to walk to the ring. Sir, you're not Undertaker, first of all. Number two, what is so significant of that god darn belt? Like, why does he keep bringing that belt to the ring? Like, I can understand if he used it on Cody, cool, but you come down and you rub it on the belt and you do nothing with the belt. Then on top of that, we you telegraph that swing you about to do. Like everything about that was like just terrible. And like I get that John is a heel now, so the way the match was going, I get that, and it was the psychologically, he was doing it, looking at the crowd, this, that, the third, kind of trying to get under the crowd skin, I guess, in a way. But it was just big letdown. Like this
It really
finish, the finish felt like something we would see on Monday Night Raw rather than on WrestleMania. So
not just WrestleMania, but the main event of WrestleMania.
the
Yeah, I mean the
like the spot, the pinnacle of all spots that everybody fights for and wants to be at, and to have that happen versus what we witnessed night one is night and day.
I mean night one that was cinematic. I mean
Cinematic.
yeah, no, night yeah, I mean but kind of getting back to that Cena mess, I feel like like I feel like there's so much money to be made in heel John Cena. You know this, I know this, people at WWE know this. There's so much money to be made behind heel John Cena, but the way that went down, I'm at a loss for words, and I'm a professional writer. I deal with words for a living, and I'm at a loss for words.
I mean, at least we get the Cody chasing after the title back now, and
Not fact, yeah.
uh, obviously, maybe it gets better because John has the title now, and I don't know, man. Like in my head, the Rockets keep saying, "Just enjoy the ride that you're going on. Enjoy the ride that you're going on." So, uh, big letdown for sure, but hopefully, I'm gonna be optimistic about what road we're going on after, because Raw after WrestleMania is always sometimes better than WrestleMania. So,
Indeed, indeed. And they gotta, I mean, yeah, they've gotta, you know, they've got a lot of work cut out ahead of them. They've got a lot of work cut out ahead of them because I feel like, if we're playing the long game with Cena, which Triple H as head booker definitely feels like a long game kind of storyteller. Um, if they're playing the long game with him, I feel like that would help. However, at the same time, what was that match? I'm sorry. I'm going down a rabbit hole, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm disappointed. We had a feeling like we both picked Cena to win that match.
yeah, yeah, without a
And
shadow of a doubt.
it was obvious that he was going to win that match, but the way that it went down just feels
Cheated.
like I said in the group chat, I feel numb.
Yeah, yeah, because it was like we got what we wanted, obviously, but we didn't get the way we wanted it to be. Maybe if okay, like when any Roman matches previously, right? We knew he was going to
Mhm.
cheat. We knew the bloodline was going to get involved, but it made the challenger in that sense more stronger, look more better in that match because he fought off the bloodline, but still ended up getting screwed out of the match. But in this case, the champion is in that situation where he has to fight off the challenger's attempts to, get one on the champ to steal the title. If Cody, I mean, to be honest, if it was like, some random people got chosen, hell, if Seth would have came out there and tried to screw Cody and, Cody fights him off, or Jay comes
Or
out
or
there and
or
helps,
Heyman.
or Heyman, or even Heyman. Yes, or even Heyman. But it was it's kind of the role reverse of going to a movie. You go see part one, it's fantastic, right? You can't wait for part two. Part two comes down, part two comes out, and you just like, what is this?
Yeah,
They do nothing. They did nothing to up the ante in this movie.
yeah, Yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that. Before we move on, what do you think is next for Cena? I think that, you know, I think Backlash, I think it's going to main event. I think he's going to work Randy Orton one last time at Backlash here in a few weeks. But past that, what do you think's, what do you think's up for him? I feel like he's got, I feel like he could work CM Punk. I feel like he could work Cody Rhodes again. Um,
Well, obviously the night after WrestleMania, Cody's gonna come out and challenge John for that title back. Or maybe just maybe, we get a not necessarily Brock Lesnar, but opponent to steer Cody attention away from John. Now, if that happens, yeah, we definitely got to have Randy versus John at Backlash in St. Louis. But do you really pull the title off of John after winning it at WrestleMania? That kind of feels, and then you let Randy take a L at home like that.
well,
I mean, it really don't matter. I mean, it's gonna happen either way. But
yeah. I mean, it's going to happen either way.
yeah, it's gonna happen either way. I mean, if that's the case, I just don't see John losing it that early.
I don't
Now,
either.
don't get me wrong. If they happen to steer Seth in that direction with Paul, it could happen. I mean, Paul Heyman joining with Seth definitely changed the dynamic of the trajectory of like both titles, because now it's like, do Seth go after the title, his baby, his world heavyweight title,
Yep.
seeing that it's Jay's title now, or do Seth go after, which at the end of the day, the undisputed title is always going to be the big prize, because um obviously from what Roman has done in the past 5 years with that title, made it the title. I mean, it's always been the title anyway, but the simple fact of the matter is the way it's been built up over the years, and just like this mountain to climb, and then like Cody winning it, it still was that mountain to climb. It just the way they made Cody's opponents, like, no disrespect to Kevin Owens, I love Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Um, I just rather would have. I get the aspect of like all his friends turning their back on him because of him sided with Roman or whatever, or even with Solo, him fighting Solo or whatever. But I would have never thought they would put the title. Like, nobody thought Solo was just gonna turn around, take over the bloodline, then take the undisputed title. Just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So Kevin snapping, that felt right because Kevin is unpredictable. Get that.
He's done that
But
for years.
Randy makes a great opponent because the fact Randy took the pile driver for Cody. They have history, with the whole what's the group they was in,
Evolution.
Legacy.
Uh, Legacy. Yeah. Not
Legacy.
Evolution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Legacy.
So everything pointed to Randy, but they didn't pull the trigger on that. But what it boils down to now is like so many directions we could go with everything involving the world title and the undisputed title. So
Exactly. Exactly. And I feel like the obvious next step is going to be it is going to be Cena and Cena and Norton in Backlash here in a few.
But quick question, like, what happens to the belt? Because Cena said he's gonna retire with that belt. Like, he's gonna retire the belt, supposedly. So
Well, as Shakespeare famously wrote many, many years ago, I believe that's probably full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Um, I feel like I feel like I don't think Cena's going to retire a heel.
no.
No, I don't think he's going to retire a heel. Um, Now he might bring that ridiculous spinner belt, but you know.
We are far and beyond that. Spinners, anything spinning like that is definitely like dead and gone. So
2004 to 2007 era,
yeah, that's
which is an era of WWE we don't really like to talk about very much.
now if you bring back the eagle belt, that'd be great. Or
Well,
change it since his character is Peacemaker and his sidekick is an eagle. Why not change it to an eagle belt? Just throwing it out there, making a Hollywood belt, quote unquote. So
all right, I see you. I see you.
you see
Yeah,
what I'm doing?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, no, I like where your head's at. Where your head's at on that. All right. Well, I think before we get dragged down too far that rabbit hole, let's talk about some of the other matches on this 2 night show here.
Well, let me pick your spirits up then.
Okay.
To stay on the heavyweight title conversation, how about Jay's win over Gunther?
Definitely the feel good moment of night one. The feel good moment of night two we'll get to, and that was
Oh, yeah.
the women's triple threat match. But the feel good moment of night one, I feel like that was, it was kind of the obvious move because knowing, kind of intuitively knowing that Cena was going to win this match tonight. I mean, we didn't think it was going to be as cheap as it felt like, but with that, we needed something nice to pick up our spirits, and I thought it was, one of Jey Uso's best solo matches.
Oh,
It was kind of a mid-tier Gunther match. I can't lie,
yeah.
because Gunther's in ring is just on another level. But I feel like that was one of, psychologically one of his best matches. Execution, I just feel like that was one of Jey Uso's best matches, and beating him with the sleeper hold, chef's kiss.
Which that move he lost the UK title to Dragunov.
Yeah,
So
he
that's an
did.
interesting
Yes, he
callback.
did. Yeah.
And if I had to rank that match for Gunther, it's definitely a mid tier ranking because we've seen him have bangers not only with the world title but the IC title, the UK title, and obviously the win was a give me because when you think about everything that was going on between them, um, Jay in his head about losing 3 matches to Gunther, seeing your brother literally get the HEW hockey sticks beat out of him in front of you and bleeding and choked out. It's like, yeah, ain't no way we could have Gunther beat him again at WrestleMania with all this money built behind Jay with the production and just like him
Yeah.
selling out arenas and the fans are eating and this, that, and the third. It was just so much. It was kind of, I keep saying this on the show, foreshadowing, you know? And now, I mean, I won't take it away from Triple H because I mean he learned from the best, Vince McMahon. So, you know, he could put a wool over our eyes and make us think that Jay is gonna win, but then, not too fast, make you wait a little bit longer. But thank God he did not make that happen. So it was
Agreed.
just right. The timing was right. It had to be at WrestleMania.
Especially since it was the leadoff match of the whole weekend.
Of the whole weekend, yes. And also to have the match be like that and the turnaround have what we had at the main event, you had to have something kind of have us high, but then like that shock factor came later on that night. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was definitely my feel good moment of night one.
oh yeah, night one definitely for sure. I was I was eating and just like dancing and just all that, just overexcited.
Well, I couldn't really get that exuberant about it because I was still on my clock at the time at work, but still, I clapped. I
Yeah.
clapped and I yelled, but fortunately, I was alone in the store, so. Uh,
Now to go to, since tonight is night two, to go to the triple threat match that we saw. Uh wow. It's definitely number one of match of the both nights, to be honest. The way the ladies executed moves and reversals and just the overall storyline involved in that, where IYO SKY was getting disrespected because it felt like, once again, just like in the triple threat main event night one, it was Rhea versus Bianca versus, instead of like IYO SKY versus one of them. And I feel like I told you in the group, I feel like we on the we are on the cusp of seeing another great women's rivalry to the levels of Charlotte versus Sasha, Trish versus Lita. Just like, I mean, hell, even in the male aspect, like I feel like, and I stand behind this, Stone Cold and The Rock,
yep,
like, because you
Brett and
got
Sean, Brett
one,
and Sean.
yeah, exactly. You got one that is had to work for everything she got, and then you got the other. She still had to work too, but it was like once she got with the Judgment Day, it like totally changed for real.
Yes,
Mommy's always on top, and having Dirty Dom with her and all this other stuff. While Bianca is just strictly just straight work, work, work. Uh, hit the mid card with the tag team titles for a little bit, bring Jade up a little bit, and then go back into singles competition. While Rhea has really just been on top, like, and never left.
yes,
So
yeah, and it was that was I believe one of the best WrestleMania opening matches I've seen in a long time. Number one.
and flowers to Sky, IYO SKY.
Yeah,
She
Io, Bianca, and Rhea, they all three of them put on their working shoes. Whoever produced that match, give them a raise because like the psychology was on point.
oh yes.
The reversals are on point. I mean, their top rope riptide reversal was just stupid.
Yes.
I mean, that like the psychology, the in-ring work, the execution of the moves was just so on point. And the mere fact that kind of the afterthought of that triple threat rivalry, no offense to Io, who is a phenomenal talent, but she was kind of written as the afterthought of that entire rivalry. And for her to go over, that's a massive endorsement for her because Bianca and Rhea, in my opinion, are on the Mount Rushmore of women's wrestlers right now.
It literally, both of them was on the cover of WWE 2K24.
Yes, they
So,
were. Yes, they were.
um, what about the reversal? Well, not the reversal. Excuse me. Basically, the reversal when EO went for the flip and got kicked by Rhea, and then into a DOT, a DOB, a KO,
KOD, KOD maybe.
KOD. Excuse me.
It's late. We're
It's late.
we're
Yeah.
we're both overly heated right now, but
But all three women definitely put on a match for the ages. I loved every bit of it. I hope they run it back somehow, or I just hope
oh boy.
some kind of way we get one-on-one action between Rhea and Bianca. Then we turn around to get Bianca versus IYO SKY or whatever the case may be. But all three women definitely need to run it back.
And let's also not forget there's somebody down in NXT who needs to be on the main roster right now, and her name is Stephanie Vaquer. I love her. She is a phenomenal talent. And I think she can have incredible matches with all three of those women.
Oh yeah. I I put one from NXT Roxana Perez.
Roxanne too, absolutely.
Roxanne, excuse me.
Yeah,
Roxanne Perez, yes. She
yeah,
definitely is on her way up. So
yeah. I mean, probably separating Booker T and Stephanie Vaquer might be a problem, but that's another story for another day.
why is it I'm sitting here thinking about this. Why is it besides Jay winning the belt that the best match of both nights have been triple threats or even four ways? Because we're finna go into the four-way match, but I just thought about it.
And you know where I've never been a fan of those. I've never been a fan of three-way, of triple threat matches, three-way dances like they called them in ECW. I've never really been a fan, but when the psychology is right, when the storyline works, it can be gold. It can be absolute gold. And speaking of the night one main event, that was 5 stars.
Yes.
It was absolute 5 stars.
Oh, before we get into that though,
Yeah, yeah.
before we get into that, what about the 5-star match of that four-way?
Not wild about the winner. Can't lie, I'm not wild about the winner. The mere fact that Dominic Mysterio, who I have said has been useless since day one, the mere fact that Dominic Mysterio now holds the same title that the Macho Man, like Mr. Perfect, like all of the
His
Honky
uncle and
Tonk
his
Man.
father. His uncle
Yeah,
and his father.
which father?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking his actual father, but
Kayfabe blood, yeah. But
yeah. But I'm screaming from the mountaintop. I said on the show, told y'all, I told y'all, I felt like Dominique Mysterio was going to win that match because one, obviously, we seen the downfall of Judgment Day, correct?
yep.
Two, Dominique is one of the biggest. I mean, I don't know if he turning babyface or not, but the way the crowd was behind him, it made it feel like it was a babyface. But two, he's one of the biggest heels in WWE. And three, it just, I mean, I hate to say it, but not really hate to say it because I mean, like he was raised by one of the greatest luchadors of all time, Rey Mysterio. So I could see from when he was barely tatted to fully tatted with long hair and stash on his face, he has really developed into a superstar,
He is. He is.
like fully, and like his 619 still kind of but that frog splash, I mean, you got to give it to him. It's one of the prettiest frog splashes I've seen, and the way he hit it on Finn tonight was just chef's kiss.
Yeah, no, that finish was good.
Yeah,
The finish was good. The one spot in that match that really kind of like raised my antennas, I think, was when he had Braun Breaker in position for the 619 and the
yeah,
crowd popped for it. Big time babyface popped for it. And I'm like, this is the same guy that could not get a word in edgewise because they were booing him so bad. Now he's getting babyface pops at WrestleMania.
yeah.
And make that make sense. But it
I'm calling
worked. But it worked.
it worked. It was money.
Yeah.
And shout out to all four of the guys. They did excellent job. Penta is on the up and up. Like
God,
I can see him
Penta is
actually
so
getting a
good. I
title.
love him so much. Yeah.
And I mean Brian is just a freak of nature. So it's just the spirit he did to Carlito, it was, I mean, what that man can't do with that spirit.
That if you haven't seen the video of this, I'm sure it's going to be on social media, but they had Carlito stood up on the American announce desk, and then Braun Breaker hopped up on the Spanish announce desk and hopped from that desk and speared that man. It's probably a good 10-foot jump. That the athletic ability of that dude is absurd.
And he didn't even he dove from like the middle of that table. He didn't
I
even come
know.
close to the edge of the table. He dove.
Yeah. That was one of the damnedest things I've ever seen.
At some point, I think he just let off. Like he was like, because if he would have fully like really went into it and like got to the edge and dove, he probably would have cut Carlito in half, for real. So
How many times has he murdered that man?
I'm gonna say at least three.
Yeah,
I'll say
yeah,
three.
at least 3 times in recent weeks.
Two out of those three was like, I mean, Carlito, you just gotta stop. If I was Carlito, I'd just stop coming to the ring. I'd be like, Dom, you got it. I'll just leave you be. Y'all got it.
Yeah, just check with HR and get your paycheck on their way out.
Yeah, like he gotta have dreams about getting speared now to this point, because it's twice this man that left his feet off the ground and dove at this man to spear him. And he almost did a front flip for the one he gave the greatest spear of all time to Carlito.
Yeah, yeah. No, let me giving that man PTSD from those spears.
And dude, I'm gonna throw this question out.
Yeah.
Is this the end of Judgment Day?
It needs to be.
It got to be.
It needs to be, because having Dominic have the Intercontinental Championship, which still I feel like I need a shower just saying those words, but not quite as bad as Logan Paul winning tonight, but just the mere fact that Dom has that title. And if Finn doesn't get his lick back, you just got to end it.
What are we
just
doing?
got to
Like,
end it.
yeah, he got to get his lick back. Like, hey, it's no. We've watched wrestling for many years, and I had never seen anybody. First, you already have conflict going into that match anyway, and then on top of that, not only did you almost have a chance to win, your so-called quote unquote brother in arms. I mean, we literally saw Finn turn on Damian Priest. So what kind of sense it make you actually lose in the match to Dom? Dom pins you for the Intercontinental title, and you are okay with it? No. Finn is gonna crash out.
Hard.
Did you see how he stumped him in that match?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
we get matter of fact, here we go. I'm throwing this out since
Bring it up. Bring it on, man. See if it sticks.
we're getting all these other promotions and all this other thing. Do we finally get Bullet Club? Like a WWE version, like just Bullet Club, not no different variation of a Bullet Club, not this, that, and third. We literally have two of the founding members. Well, excuse me, three of the founding members of Bullet Club, and we have not yet done anything with those three guys.
Refresh my memory. Was Bullet Club what was Bullet Club? Did it come from New Japan or All Japan?
I believe, I don't want to get this wrong, but New Japan.
All right. Do you remember on his social media a few days ago, there was a big kind of uproar about a certain Dwayne The Rock
Final
Johnson
boss.
wearing a New Japan t-shirt on his
Correct.
social media feed.
Correct.
Here I was thinking it was just, a MacGuffin, but I'd love to see it.
I mean, Finn is literally the guy that started it. So, and I mean, like,
And
obviously he's
AJ Styles was his right-hand man in that.
And I mean, like, if anything, give us something worth something with AJ Styles, because the fact that you let him lose, which I called that as well, but I hate it because I mean,
He lost to Logan Paul. My God, he lost to Logan Paul.
I get where they're going. I get where they're going with it. You know, Logan Paul is he like a big heel. People don't like him. I mean, you got to stack the credible wins. I mean, you can't be sitting here just taking L's left and right, left and right. You got to get those quality wins in to be justified as a heel. I mean, like this man was in the match with Roman Reigns for the undisputed title. I am still pissed off about that, by the way. But
yeah,
I mean, I get it. They was in Saudi Arabia. They're trying to get the numbers up. I get it, but no way, no way. And I'm trying not to cuss on the show. No
you're
way in the
good. You're
world
good.
that Logan Paul should have been in that match in the first place. When you got a whole bunch of other people deserving to even be in the match with Roman Reigns. So
Yeah, yeah.
we could have got Seth in Roman again in Saudi Arabia. That would have definitely did way more numbers than Logan Paul. But I mean, it's whatever. It's
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was a money situation. I don't want to get into the politics of Saudi Arabia's, crown
yeah,
prince,
yeah.
but yeah, just kind of briefly before we move on to that triple threat from night one. I like Joe Hendry. I like him. I always have. He's corny, he's goofy, but I like him. Not in that spot against Randy Orton. That did nothing for me.
Talk about another big letdown.
Oh my gosh.
I get it. I get it though. I get it. He's the TNA champion. WWE bought TNA, and we're trying to get eyes on TNA more, and he's one of the big stars. And I mean, they played on the word, call his name, say his name, he appears. Randy needed a opponent to fight at WrestleMania, so he appeared. But all these acquisitions we're getting back. We're getting Aleister Black. We're getting Rusev, for God's sakes. At one point, I was thinking it was going to be Big E. To be honest, he was very quiet in the show. And I mean, I would love Big E to come back, like just to see him back in the ring, moving around.
Period. Yeah.
Getting a drop here and there. Yeah. So, but all right, here we go. Throwing out a crazy theory. With him coming out at WrestleMania, and if Randy doesn't get involved with John Cena for the undisputed title, do we get Randy going after the TNA title and kind of upping his title number up by him winning that title, or what?
My first thought is absolutely not, because is this more raising the profile of the TNA championship or burying a future Hall of Fame? However, getting those title reign numbers back up, it could that could be for an interesting storyline down the line, because I definitely think they're going to run back. They're going to work Cena and Orton at least one more time. I mean, it's gonna happen in Backlash.
Yeah, it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen.
I say you run it back at like a big pay-per-view, like a SummerSlam, or like a Money in the Bank or something like that,
or
like a high profile event, or Ruthless Aggression. Yeah, the thing they're doing in December. That's an interesting thought. I mean, that's an interesting, very interesting thought, actually, because
I mean, because think about it. We do that backlash, boom. Randy gets another title. You up his number, you know, obviously that brings eyes on TNA because now Randy has to kind of like work in TNA a little bit. And then, get Joe to get the title back at one of their pay-per-views or something like that. So
yeah. Um, before he eventually comes to WWE.
yeah.
I mean, because I mean, again, I feel like I was excited for his Royal Rumble appearance because the gimmick is so goofy.
It's catchy. It's just like the Yeet. It's like you can't help but
Dude,
to
that song he wrote and performed that, by the way.
in the turn. The turn gets me every time. It's like, come on, man. Yeah. And then the way Randy did it, it was so funny. Randy was like, and he so
Yeah, well, yeah. I just had to mention that. Like I said,
yeah.
unlike some people in our group, I like Joe Hendry, just not in that.
I see the appeal. Like I can't
Yeah.
see or deny that he doesn't because I mean the crowd was just like they was for it. They didn't care about no Russo, about
Man,
nothing.
60,000 people doing the hand wave.
Yeah, they was like, ah man, we didn't get Russo, but hey,
Yeah.
so but
And,
that
and
was
then and then he got his head handed to him on a silver platter and
uh
took an RKO after
yeah,
that.
he took two of them. So
Yeah.
two of them for his trouble. Like, hey, appreciate you coming out wrestling. Yeah, take another RKO on your way out.
Yeah, make sure you leave your direct deposit information with bookkeeping before you leave.
Hey,
Yeah.
here goes a gift card to WWE shop to get you a Randy Orton shirt. By the way,
No. Joe seems more of more of the Yeet T-shirt kind of guy to me.
yeah. I mean, after getting that second RKO, he definitely like I'm gonna get a Yeet shirt
Yeah.
to get Randy.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well,
Before we get into triple threat, let me just go out throw out. We called it. Our boy Jacob Fatu is the man. Yada yada yada. I mean,
Jacob Fatu. That is
we can definitely say that for another episode. We just
that's
want to
a
give his
bad
flowers.
man. That is a bad man right there. That guy, it breaks my heart that he and Prime Big Van Vader, not WWE Vader, but Japan Vader, never got a chance to work because that man, for his size, can do things that just a regular. I mean, he does things that luchadors do.
Get that man on Raw so we can get Brasserie and him going one on one. That is going to
Oh,
be a slobber knocker for sure. In the great words of JR.
yeah, no, he's great on the mic. He's got a great gimmick. He's got a great personal story, and it's like he doesn't have a move set. He's like a jazz musician. He just makes things up as he goes along, but it works.
Yeah, for sure. And that head shake you do is crazy. Like you know you done messed up when you start doing it.
I mean, it's a shame that Umaga is no longer with us
Oh man.
because
I
that man is I know they're related, but that man is the spiritual successor to Umaga.
yes. Yes. I love seeing Jacob work. It reminds me so much of manga. And I was in my teens, obviously watching Umaga go against like Bobby Lashley and other people like that, but just the overall aura that Jacob has, it is so like
It's a
Umaga.
great word for it. Yeah, no, that's a great word for it. That guy's got money written all over him. They just got to use him right.
And they need to that Solo and Jacob, when they finally like go head to head, I feel like it's gonna be money. It's gonna redeem Solo for sure because like the way they did him taking over the bloodline, making the bloodline 2.0, I sensed that it was going to be somewhat like that, but I just with Roman not being on the show, granted we know why, but like with him not being on the show and like Solo having to work by himself basically on the mic, it kind of like diminished his momentum a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, like, yeah, he went after Cody or whatever, but like you do all that and you lose to Cody, it's like, okay, like we should have just kept Cody away and it's really just you and Roman. Like you want to be the OTC, you want to be like the tribal chief. So you need to focus on that, not the title. You focus on being the tribal chief officially, then you go after the title.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No, they got to do something big with Jacob Fatu this summer. You know, like, um, like I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that moment that we're gonna get of Jacob Fatu saying, "I hate you, Solo." That's money right there. That's a money match. That's a money moment. And that's going to be a pop that blows a roof off of a building.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? There you go. All right. I want to touch briefly a little bit on Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton. I was so wrong about that match, thinking that it could be, you know, possibly the match of the weekend. Oh my God, that match was a hot mess. I'm surprised they put Tiffany over. I can't lie, but that match was a radioactive hot mess. It
Oh,
was
it's sloppy.
it was sloppy. It was poorly
Sloppy.
worked. Um, I hate to say this, but I think Tiffany is as green as is as green as his bottle of hand sanitizer. I mean,
She's not very technically sound for sure.
yet. I mean, he's got potential, but she's in over her head right now.
Yeah. And like we've seen way better from Charlotte. Like way better.
Oh, absolutely.
So like
Last year WrestleMania for yeah.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean Charlotte with one leg worked
Yeah.
better than so, hopefully what they do now, because I think Charlotte's still on SmackDown, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anything, somehow I know we got the draft coming up or something, but it's a lot of
I'm pretty sure we will, but
it's a lot of moving pieces that could be moved around here and there, and we get better. We get a lot better. Obviously with Seth, he's on Raw, but either we get Seth on SmackDown or we get Roman on Raw with Seth, and we get that cooking. And you know, Charlotte, I think Charlotte going to Raw and maybe going at the IYO SKY would be a lot better. But as of right now, I don't know. I mean, I still feel like they probably gonna go down that Tiffy route. Like you got one, I got one up on you at WrestleMania, and then Charlotte, it don't sit well with Charlotte, so she got to get her at Backlash. And
yeah.
I think I'm throwing it out there. I think that the person that John Cena was talking about shaking the hand of who breaks the record is going to be Charlotte.
Not breaking his record, but breaking the
The
title
record.
record. Yeah.
The record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously not the
Gotta watch
male.
your antecedents there. I'm off the clock right now as a book editor, but yeah. I still gotta watch your pronoun antecedents, my friend.
Obviously not the male world title record, but
I,
just overall world title record. Yes.
I'm busting your chops, but yeah, no, I think that's right. But yeah, no, that match was a terrible disappointment to me.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
was. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Tonight we're recording this after night two, obviously, but the co-main event, I kind of feel like it was kind of a convoluted kind of storyline because in the pre-show before night one, Bailey got jumped, like got jumped in the shadows. Now I'm curious if this is a legit injury or not. I don't know. But the the mystery tag team partner, that they had, Lyra Valkyria. That name is not easy to say at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, to say nothing of 11:30.
Just
But
call it LV.
yeah, Lyra, yeah. But her mystery tag team partner ended up being a returning Becky Lynch, and that was almost as anticlimactic to me. And I love Becky Lynch, but that was almost as anticlimactic to me as the main event between John Cena and Cody Rhodes.
Yes. I feel as though, I mean, it was writing on the wall. Like, we saw Becky at the Hall of Fame. We saw her in the back with waiting on Seth after he turned on, you know, well, actually not Seth turning on, but when Paul turned on Roman and CM Punk.
Mhm.
So it was kind of a give me on, oh, who's the mystery partner? But I think, because I'm with the crazy theories, I think that it wasn't a mystery person that took Bailey out. I think Bailey might have like took herself out in a sense. Uh Now stay with me. I believe she took herself out because how you go from Monday night being pissed off that you lost to Valkyria to turn around and y'all win a gauntlet match, tag team gauntlet match with the same person that you were pissed off about losing for the IC title, and then you go on and want to fight for tag team titles with this person. I don't see that going on. And then
I see that. Yeah.
coming from the mind of Triple H, going through my mind of all the storylines we've witnessed at WWE, is it really far fetched to think that somebody wouldn't take their self out of a match if they didn't want to be in that match? I mean, I did it for The Rock. Come on.
I did it for you, B. I mean, yeah,
So I'm saying
yeah, possibly, possibly.
it's
But
possible.
yeah, no, Becky looked great. They won the tag team titles, and I could care less.
Yeah. I mean, not the disparate tag team titles. I'm all for the women's tag team titles. I want them to stay forever. Uh, Having Liv and Raquel win them, I'm like they are a solid tag team. Like, I want
Yeah,
tag team people to win tag team belts. So now with Becky and Valkyria, they have the belts. Obviously, they got big names on it with Becky on it. But I feel like, give the other women who don't get as much shine, give those give them the titles. Have I mean, I don't like the gimmick at all, but the party girls, Carter and what's the name?
Carter and Chance.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
they were tag team champions at one point. What about them? What about what's the name? Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark and what's the name? Let's just say Pure Fusion
Shayna. Yeah,
Collection. Yeah, them
yeah.
them two. They really need more time. So give them the titles. Just give people um I mean, give a girl Maxine. I mean, come on now. Like, everybody loves Maxine. I need her to get a title. She's not gonna get, no disrespect to her. I don't see her winning the women's title at all. I don't see her winning the IC title at all.
Nope.
I don't even see her winning the US title. But I can see her winning a tag team title with someone, whether it's Natty, whether it's whoever. I can see
Chelsea
her winning.
Green. Yeah.
I can see her
Yeah.
winning tag team titles.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but we love you, Maxine. Don't want to.
No, no, no. Don't, don't
You're a
want to
girl.
take a dump on her.
Yeah, you're a girl for
Um,
sure.
she's, she's not exactly the world's greatest wrestler, but she's, got a great presence about
She
her.
got a great
And that's
presence.
all I really want to say about that.
She's charismatic for sure.
Yeah, no, she's, incredibly. I think there's two more matches that I really want to talk about, and I kind of,
Okay.
I kind of foreshadowed it with the, talking about that. But what did you think of Jade and
Oh,
Naomi?
another match. Not necessarily the match of the night, but definitely a highlight of the night.
Agreed.
We said on the show that we love the transformation of Naomi, and I mean, just from her presence on social media to like her presentation as like her ring gear and the new intro she
Yeah,
got.
yeah,
I mean,
new
introducing
music. Yeah,
new music and the look is just she is gonna go far with this new look. Like I can see her possibly being a champion again. Um, you know, losing to Jade doesn't help, but at the same time, it really don't hurt her. It helps Jade, but it don't hurt Naomi now because now with the loss to Jade, like I can see Jade, kind of because we saw it once again foreshadowing Charlotte versus Jade. That
yep.
could be a match in the works. But now we circle back, you know, Bianca dealing with all the drama of Jade and Naomi. Now we finally circle back, and now do Naomi get back for her feeling like she got turned on for Bianca because she did that for Bianca. She did all turning on Jade and stuff for Bianca. So and then with Jade, obviously what we said with her and Charlotte, but the match did wonders for both competitors.
You know,
In
it
my
it
eye.
really, yeah, it really did. I mean, Jade Cargill's not gonna, not gonna, be mistaken for the next coming of Ricky Steamboat or
No,
anything.
no.
She looked better than she has in a long time, if not ever, in WWE. And she had a great dance partner. Some of the power stuff that she does blew me away.
Uh, for what she did with Naomi, it far surpassed what I've seen her do from AEW and what she's done so far in WWE. Like
Absolutely.
that match right there is by far better than any match she had in AEW. I get it; she was the TBS champion for a long time, and she had an undefeated streak. But you take that one match with Naomi, and now it's like you can go far with that.
Yes.
So
Yeah, no, she's got heat for days with that. She's got rub from that whole feud. Especially if they work her with Charlotte, which I think Charlotte and Jade Cargill could bring out the best in each other.
yes,
They're both similar, similar builds, similar, kind of move sets.
mm-hmm.
Um, the
Charlotte could,
I feel like the biggest gap in Jade right now is her ring psychology.
yeah,
She's got the moves. She's
mm-hmm.
got an incredible look. She's got charisma for days. And I think getting in the ring with somebody like Charlotte, who is the total package,
Yeah.
great, great look, great moves, great psychology, the whole thing, that could be gold.
She needs a technical person like Charlotte. Like Charlotte can be power, she can be speed, whatever the case may be, but like she's very grounded in technical moves too.
Yes.
So in order for Jade to advance and get better in the ring, like you said, number one is the psychology. Like her psychology, it definitely needs work. Still green in that department, but with everything athletically she can do, she can get a lot better technical. So
Yep. Yep. And yeah, when it comes to psychology, I think I heard an interview with Cody Rhodes of all people. Many, many months ago when somebody had asked him about that, like how, when he first started getting good at ring psychology. Um, and he said, you don't get good if you start in your early 20s, like most of these guys do, if you start in your early 20s, you're not going to be even close to good at ring psychology until you've been doing this for 12, 15 years, until you're in your mid 30s. And what is Jade? Probably 30? And she hadn't been at this long.
no,
Like I think she got into this from bodybuilding. So, I mean, she hasn't been in this long. She's, just getting the reps, just doing this over and over again, screwing up, getting feedback, just the repetitions is what's going to make that work.
yeah, and working with people like Naomi and Charlotte, just people like who are
Bianca.
Bianca, working with those type of talents is definitely going to speed the process up a little bit more. But I do like thinking about what you said, like, think about all the greats, like John when he first started. He wasn't very, you know, into that until he got his match with JBL and like other people. And then like with I mean, to be honest, Rey Mysterio. I mean not Rey Mysterio, Dom Mysterio, when he started getting rubs from different superstars, even with Roman. I mean, like that's how he started getting his nick a little bit. So
Yep. No, you gotta have you gotta have good dance
you
partners.
gotta have a good
Got
dance partner, yes,
got to have good dance partners. I
because
mean,
we could get Batista and the Great Khali in the prison match, and that was oh god.
why'd you have to go there? Come on.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Like you can't get a catastrophe like that. So
Exactly. Exactly. Or, you know, 80% of Bill Goldberg's career.
Bill Goldberg has never been a great.
No, no, he
Looking
has.
back at it, as a kid, I was like, "Oh man, good Bill Goldberg, he's this and that." But then, like as an adult,
He
and
just
like
beat Hulk Hogan. He just beat Hulk Hogan.
yeah, knowing the philosophy of like wrestling now and like what they do to get you involved in matches, and realizing that all Bill Goldberg matches was under about 5 minutes to maybe 3 minutes. It's like I see why Bret Hart calls him Bill Goldberg now.
Yeah. Yeah. Ultimate Warrior is another example of that. Great, great look, great physique, great presence. Couldn't work to save his life.
couldn't couldn't work out of a paper bag.
No, could not have a match with a paper bag. All right. I think before we run out of time here, we've got to talk about that triple threat main event for night
Oh
one.
yeah,
Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and the soap opera
this the
of
only match.
all payment.
I literally got notes from that match.
Yeah. Talk to me. Talk to me. What
Uh,
were your favorite moments?
my favorite moments. Wow. All right, so dissecting everything that happened between these three and just the lump. One thing about great, if you want a great match, you got to have history with each other. You got to
Yes.
have that that backstory of why something happened or why this person hates this person. What I shot up that I don't have to get into it with Seth and Punk because we already know the backstory with that. We already know the backstory with Roman and Rollins, but the overall fruit that was dangling was Paul Heyman. The buildup was the favor. It was, you know, Rollins screwing Reigns. Every time Reigns get ahead, he gets screwed by Rollins. Punk, he's this cancer that's coming back trying to take what we built, this, that, and the third. Uh, Everything about this match was straight cinema. I mean, from the location, Sin City.
Yes.
This triple threat of three of the biggest stars in WWE at this time. Everybody's, even us, trying to figure out why is this match the main event of night one, and it's just a regular triple threat match. But looking into it now, seeing what we witnessed, it wasn't just a regular triple threat. It was a triple threat to determine where do we go from here with not only the bloodline, like, yes, people say bloodline is over with. I understand, but is it over with? We still have The Rock in the background of the shadows, just doing whatever until he feels freely to pop in. Um, you know, with Punk, he finally gets the main event that he wanted. He was all these years, he's being as big as he is and fans cheering his name, and he's never got a main event. It was great to see that for him. Um Now with my notes that I wrote, and Cole pointed this out. Yesterday was the not necessarily the day, but like basically it's been a decade since that infamous heist of the century. Just
Yes.
to turn around and pull another heist of Paul Heyman. Then on top of that, um, Rollins and his just Rollins is probably the closest thing to Joker in WWE because of the way he plays mind games with Roman. He's not physically imposing as Roman. He's probably never going to be the guy like Roman has been chose to be. But the way he just plays with Roman's mind every single time they encounter one another, it's like Brainiac and Superman at this point. Because like the way he was in the ring, he was talking. Okay, here go my favorite spots. One was the big name drop of not Dean Ambrose, but he actually said John Moxley. He said Moxley. He pointed out John Moxley leaving. Everybody's gone. He's by himself. Paul left. You're like, you're alone. And I try to tell you that, why you think you're alone right now? I keep telling you, you think you're bigger than us. You think you're bigger than the company, this, that, the third, blah, blah, blah. And just the overall, like, the aspect of what we were saying, like the philosophy of the match. If you go back and look at that match, how many times have we seen Seth will be focused on Roman, but he'll turn to Punk? Like, he's an opportunity to go after Roman, but he goes immediately to Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Punk goes after Roman, and then here comes Seth going after Punk. It's like the hatred they have for each other is vice versa. It's the even flow of flip flop.
Yes.
And like Punk can have Rollins up for go to sleep, and then here come Roman with the spear. And once again, if you think back, Brock Lesnar had Rollins up for a F5. Here comes Roman with the spear. Then he gets the bullet of getting stomped by Seth to lose that match. Once again, what happened? It comes back 10 years later, and he gets stomped by Rollins again and loses that triple threat match. And then my biggest, and I'm sure this is yours too, the biggest spot of all, which is the chef's kiss on this, the reinforced tables that are so-called unbreakable, right?
Oh yes, that whole sequence was gold.
Roman not only body slammed Punk to one, he turns around and slams Rollins to one, and it looked devastating. I thought he broke Rollins' back.
Yeah.
It was that powerful. So, like, that match, everything about that match was just excellent. I loved it.
Yeah, like it told an incredible story. It was, it was a story in three acts. It was, you know, the the betrayal from Paul Heyman. It was that masterful, sequence at the Spanish and the English announce tables. It was that that match. That there was nothing. There were no titles or anything like that. But that match felt way more important than the main event of night two.
It did.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, for those of us who go back a long ways to the WWF, that match, that triple threat match, was Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage versus, I don't know, Ricky Steamboat. I mean, it was three of the biggest names in the whole company, in the whole world.
Maybe Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper, yeah, instead of instead of Steamboat. Obviously Roman is Hulk Hogan. I think,
Yeah.
I think Punk's going to be Savage, and then yeah, Piper. Yeah, that's a good call on Piper and Piper and Rollins, but um, just the star power of that match alone, and the you've got Bobby Heenan, the Weasel, in Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
So just that match, as flat as that night one crowd was, for the most part, after after the Jey Uso title win, that made it all worthwhile. And I feel like you can do so much moving forward with those three. Um, I mean, obviously Roman's gonna go chill out for a little while because
Yeah.
he doesn't work full time anymore. But you've got a lot of avenues you can go with Punk. But I want to talk about Rollins before we wrap up. I want to talk about Rollins and Heyman and kind of that unholy union that they have. Could we get like a super uber heel kind of corporate faction with Rollins, with John Cena? Um, just what do you think about that? Like a super corporate heel faction.
I'm glad you pointed it out because it's one of the things that I was thinking about last night and I even wrote it down. I wrote like, okay, with the analogy you said with Hogan and Roddy Piper and Savage, I think it's on the aspect of, even if you fast forward years later, Undertaker, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels, right?
Good call, yeah.
Undertaker's always been the phenom, the guy, the box office hit, right?
Hmm.
And then you got Triple H, which is, you know, quote unquote Rollins, uh,
The cerebral
cerebral
assassin.
assassin, yes. And Shawn Michaels, right? He's the fan favorite, the bad boy, the guy that you're like, how does this dude keep being in all these matches or keep doing this and that when he's literally been a hole his entire career, or just about his entire career? That's CM Punk, right? It's like from the infamous night of when Rollins turned on Roman with that chair shot. Rollins has joined the Authority. Uh, you know, obviously he went through his old architect era, the visionary, this and that. He has so many names, but with all those different names or with all those variations of himself, he never was like the guy. You know, Roman was the guy. Like Roman was going against Brock Lesnar and like the big dog. You know, he's fighting Undertaker and he's like, I mean, even then, back then, he was like the box office. Like he's fighting John Cena. He's like competing in those matches where, you know, Seth wanted those spots and even Seth wins those titles and stuff, but it just don't feel the same as with Roman,
Yep.
right? So it's like Roman's in this tier, and then Seth is always in that like second tier, right? And then with like Roman getting Paul as his Wiseman, it kind of elevated Roman even more
Yep.
to tribal chief status, to like the $1 million deals and all this other stuff. So with that, do we get Rollins elevated? Rollins up elevated to where Roman is, or he's still kind of like, you know, that second tierish type? And like with the corporation thing, we definitely need, see this the absence thing. Like you have Rock show up, and you have this big thing. Like I want you to be my champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't follow through on it at WrestleMania. So it's a big letdown for us. It's an anticlimactic feel to it.
But
And
we get Travis Scott, but go on.
yeah, um, but I really, you can't call yourself the final boss and you never are there, right? You're the final boss. You are the say all be all. It's like Vince McMahon calling himself the final boss. In every epic moment we saw with Stone Cold turning on The Rock, I mean, like not turning, but basically turning on the WWE universe and siding with the devil, and
Mm-hmm.
just everything Vince McMahon. You think about everything Vince McMahon was involved in over the years we've seen him in WWE. If you take him out of those things, they don't feel right. Like, you know, Stone Cold cheating to win, it don't feel right, right? So with The Rock coming out and like, are you gonna be my champion? And then Cody say, go F you, and then you know, Cena turns, you're the main reason why he turned. So why are you not there to justify the reason? Like, yeah, I get it. He was turning on us because you know he's sick of us, and you know John Cena suck and this and that. But like, I mean, everything you said was true,
Yeah.
and then you literally got fans behind you as a heel, and that's crazy. But the main reason why was the fact that we're thinking you're going to cheat with the final boss. The final boss is going to make you his champion. So now it's like, and I get it. Maybe they don't do it at WrestleMania. Maybe they're saving it for Raw after WrestleMania. But it just don't. It don't add up. Like it's certain movies.
It just does not tag up.
Yeah, so there's certain movies that have potholes in it because they didn't go back and explain to us why, or you know, we don't get no end game to that. So, but
Yeah.
if the end game is, you know, Rollins and Cena and I mean, you know, Drew and you know, like a effectuation with like, you know, those guys, and The Rock is the head of that, then I mean, I get it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it
I
got to be
mean,
that.
it's got to be like I've always, when the Cena heel turn happened, I kind of pictured The Rock as kind of the Emperor Palpatine of this whole situation.
Yeah.
Um, he wasn't, Palpatine obviously wasn't in every scene,
Right.
but his presence was felt anytime Vader came on screen.
Exactly.
Anytime, any of the Sith Lords came on screen, it was, Palpatine was kind of the puppet master of this whole thing. And I feel like WWE, I don't want to say they dropped the ball on the Cena heel turn, but they handled it almost like a hot potato, because you waited 3 weeks, 3 weeks before we heard a word out of John Cena's mouth after the heel turn. They never got physical in this whole situation. That one attempted AA, they never got physical. And you can't, like, that does not, it doesn't speak to this whole thing. But the fact that we never saw The Rock after Elimination Chamber, and I get he's got other obligations, I get it, but something about that just lands like a black hole to me. That's like a giant plot black hole to me.
And the fact that when they
And
got physical,
that really bothers me. As a storyteller, that really bothers me.
and like, you know, as a fan and seeing like whenever two people got physical, Cody always ended it. It was never John putting him through a table or AA here or nothing. It was always Cena getting dropped on his head until we finally get to WrestleMania and he gets the drop on Cody. And then, like you said, with Rock not being involved, you waited 3 weeks. It felt like, okay, you know how you plan this surprise party out for somebody, right?
Yeah.
And you tell everybody, but one of those people go to the actual person that you're planning the surprise party for, and the person knew about the party. So now when the day comes, you walk in, surprise, and they walk, and the person walks in and is like, "Oh, guys, appreciate it. I mean, I knew about the party already. Like, what was the point of doing all that work, all that leg work to throw this big extravagant surprise, and you knew about it the whole entire time? Like, the letdown is it's so bad. Like that's basically how it was. All this work y'all did. Cena coming out 3 weeks later. He's dropping all these gems and, you know, make you think. And like what I was telling you, it was like all the stuff he was talking about. He's psychologically working not only us but Cody. But then on top of that, you know, going into WrestleMania, the whole time, every single person, you can't sit here and tell me that every single person didn't think like, oh, The Rock gonna get involved, or something on the lines of some shenanigans going to happen to Cena's going to win this match. Not a doubt in my mind, I felt like Cody was going to come out of this as champ. Now, you know, we are human, and any wrestling fan would be like, well, what if he do come out? So your mind gets to thinking, but the way they were setting it up, the way it just none of this made any sense if Cena lost. Because you make him turn heel. The one thing fans wanted him to do for 20 something years, right? We finally get that. We want to see him break that record, right? We finally get that. And yet we finally get all of that, but we still don't get the one thing that we wanted, is for you to explain why you sided with The Rock, why Rock sided with you. We don't even get the backstage of it all. Like,
No.
Rock hit me up and we talked about things, and we drunk some Tijuana or whatever, and he
Yeah.
convinced me, I should do this. I'm doing Hollywood already anyway. Something along those lines to explain why you just kick this man in his nuts and beat him to a bloody pulp.
Yeah. 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 No, I mean, yeah. We could go on about this all night.
We can, and I mean, like, uh, I get the 2025 feels of when Rollins turned on the Shield and went to the Authority. That's basically how I feel about it. Like now,
Mhm.
Rollins necessarily didn't turn on anyone, but he basically sold his soul to, or better yet, in Cole's words, Paul Heyman sold his soul to the devil. But I think it's bigger than that. I think Rollins, he always wanted to one up on Reigns, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what is one big one up he can do? Not only get Paul Heyman to side with him, but to side with your cousin and get things given to you instead of the other way around where Rock was with Roman. And then that's how we get things spinning around back to the Bloodline saga where the High Chief and the Tribal Chief butt heads. I'm telling you, I've been telling you in the group, I've been telling you on the pod, we're getting a road to WrestleMania where we finally get that match. Seth even said in an interview, I think he was like, you know, he's ready for that match to happen so it can be over with. So basically, we fans can get, because if we
Yes.
don't get that match, we're always. It's just like Undertaker versus Sting. We never got that match. We never going to get that match. So we're going to talk about it forever.
Right. And, we almost, Undertaker's thing. Yeah, don't get me started on that. But we, Rock and Roman, neither one of those guys are getting any younger.
Nope.
Let's not forget Roman Reigns is still taking chemotherapy for his leukemia.
Correct.
Rock is doing all kinds of movies and whatnot. Not exactly staying in ring shape. We need to get this match. I feel like next year feels like a perfect time for it.
Perfect.
But I also said the same thing about WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 40. It needs to happen before it's too late. Before it ends up being Sting and Undertaker.
Yeah, and then like Roman even said, like he see once his contract is up, he see maybe 1 or 2 years. So it has to happen now. We have no choice. Like, I mean, obviously we don't work for WWE or anything like that, but like thinking about storyline wise, it has to happen now because everything is forming in a way to make sense basically for them to do it now. But then thinking outside of the ring, like you said, the Rock is doing movies. Those are not gonna stop. Roman is thinking about, you know, going to another form of entertainment other than being physical. So he's going to eventually go to Hollywood. So like we got to get that match. Like we got to get it. At this point, I mean, I would love it at WrestleMania. I mean, I feel like it's the match for WrestleMania. But even if it has to just be at SummerSlam, we got to get it at one of the big four. So
It eventually has to happen. I don't give a damn if it happens at the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia next year. It
yeah,
has.
I mean, to be honest, if it happens at Saudi Arabia, that'll top anything they have had in Saudi Arabia at all. Because Saudi Arabia it feels like a glorified at this point to me. Anytime they have anything in Saudi Arabia, it feels like a glorified Raw SmackDown to me.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
Nothing catastrophic happens like at WrestleMania. Everything happens at WrestleMania. Now all these storylines form from WrestleMania. Anything happens at SummerSlam, it's a continuation of what we've witnessed from WrestleMania, but it makes the road to WrestleMania, the next WrestleMania, stronger. But Saudi Arabia feels like a Great Balls of Fire or freaking what's the other one? Um, the pay-per-view. I wish they had just stopped.
Fastlane.
Yeah. Was it speed? Not speed block, speed bump, speed. Was it fast?
Roadblock. Roadblock.
Roadblock. Yeah. Which I don't think they do that anymore. But that's basically how a robot felt like. Like, why are we having this pay per view? So
why are we naming it Great Balls of Fire?
thank God that was one and done. Because
Yeah.
what was the reason for this?
Yeah, Great Balls of Fire brought to you by Lotriman.
The best thing out of that was Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. That was it.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, WrestleMania is done. We've got a lot to look forward to, and
WrestleMania.
Raw after WrestleMania, SmackDown after WrestleMania. I know we're getting Aleister Black coming back on this coming Friday. We're probably getting Rusev on the Raw after WrestleMania. Should have gotten him tonight, but we believe in Joe.
Rusev Day in City, but that's another day.
Thank you. You got a lot to look forward to, and I think there's a lot to look forward to, but also I kind of need a shower after that main event tonight.
Yeah, shower and some sage, because
sage, exactly.
Like I like to toot my own horn on the show and just to you guys, but at the same time, I didn't want to witness AJ Styles take a loss to Logan Paul. I'm sorry. And I didn't want the finish that we got. I wanted it to be more cinema to it than what it was. Like night one was by far like on the verge of what we witnessed the previous WrestleManias. But night two was definitely like, man, I can't believe this is the finish to the entire night.
Just flat
on his face.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do this again next week.
Oh yeah,
we'll talk a little backlash.
Talk. Where do we go from here after Raw and SmackDown?
Yeah. Well, same bat time, same bat channel next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this expanded edition of the Wrasslin Wroundtable. For Dom, I'm Ryan. Until we eat again, thank you so much for listening and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And until we eat again, thank you so much for watching and listening.